Good morning. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. My name is Angela Cabellin, and I am Chief of Staff to County Executive Ball. You all may be seated. It is my pleasure to welcome you on this momentous day to today's bill signing. Before we hear from Howard County's, Maryland's, and our nation's leaders, please join me as we recognize our elected officials. Now, can you all do the one clap? Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do is I will say the elected official's name, and let's hear a big one clap after each name. County Executive Calvin Ball. Governor Wes Moore. U.S. Senator Angela Alsobrooks, U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen, Congresswoman Sarah Elfreth, Senator Katie Fry Hester, Senator Clarence Lamb, Council Chair Dr. Opal Jones, Council Vice Chair Christiana Rigby, Council Member Deb Young, Council Member Liz Walsh, Sheriff Marcus Harris, Register of Wills Byron McFarland, BOE member Jolene Mosley, HCC President Dr. Daria Willis. And give yourselves a round of applause for handling that beautifully. And please raise your hand if I was remiss on any other names. Okay, perfect. Now to invite up my boss. We have seen him in action, especially during these recent weeks that have led up to this moment. It is a deep privilege to introduce a strong visionary for all, County Executive Calvin Ball.
Good morning, family. Good morning. It's truly meaningful to see so many friends, partners, and community leaders gathered here today as we mark an important milestone for Howard County, our state, our nation, our world. Family, we truly met this moment before it became a memory. As I reflected upon my remarks this morning, I kept returning to one word, one singular word, and that word, time. Because the story of this emergency legislation is at its core a story about how quickly a community can come together when its values are tested. 7 days. Exactly 1 week ago, I announced that I was submitting emergency legislation with our Howard County Council to prohibit the permitting of privately owned buildings operating as detention centers. 5 days. On Monday, after reviewing public reports and conducting further investigation, our departments of inspections, licenses, and permits revoked the previously issued building permit for a private detention facility in Elkridge. And this revocation was based upon state law requiring private immigration detention centers meet specific notice and public hearing requirements. 2 days. On Wednesday, I presented myself before our county council to testify in support of our emergency legislation alongside hundreds of residents who added their voices to mine in a chorus for our community, a fugue for our future. 1 day. Last night, our Howard County Council unanimously passed this emergency legislation, demonstrating bipartisan leadership and a shared commitment to public safety, commitment to health, commitment to welfare, commitment to transparency, commitment to human dignity. However, today is not just about how fast we acted, but why we acted. We acted because what we allow to be built in our neighborhoods reflects what we are willing to accept as a community. We acted because Howard County will not be a place where privately owned facilities designed for confinement and fear are quietly placed in our backyards. In Howard County, we unequivocally believe that the civil rights of every Howard County resident must be protected without exception. At the same time, Howard County will continue to always hold people accountable who commit serious crimes and threaten our public safety. But what we will not do is blur the line between public safety and discrimination based on fear or identity. Today, we deepen that line that we have drawn between public safety and discrimination. Today, we demonstrate what can happen when our community unites for a common cause, because our neighborhoods should live without fear of losing their civil rights or humanity, without fear of their own government maliciously breaking the law to harm them or possibly end their lives. That principle extends beyond this moment because today we also affirm the kind of county we are committed to being, a county, a community, where neighborhoods and office parks are places of safety, places of dignity, and places of opportunity, where housing is a foundation for stability, not a tool for fear. When families worry about losing the roof over their heads, when neighbors fear displacement or destabilization, when decisions are made without transparency or accountability, the very fabric of our community is strained. That is why we approach housing and land use not simply as technical matters, but as commitments to people. This moment reinforces that strong communities are built when residents feel secure in their homes, respected by their government, and confident that their voices matter. Today, we act to protect that trust and to ensure that Howard County remains a place where everyone can live, work, play, grow, and thrive without fear. Today, we close the loop in time. In just 7 days, we proved that when our values are clear, our action can be swift. When our community is united, our voice is powerful. And when human dignity is on the line, Howard County will not hesitate. Today, we make a declaration that fear will not define our neighborhoods, that cruelty will not guide our decisions, and that dignity will never be optional in Howard County. As safety and humanity will rise together, so too shall we rise to meet the moment. Today, tomorrow, and for decades to come, we will continue to lead with courage, compassion, and conviction. We will continue to lead with love. We will listen to our residents. We will build a county, a community where every person can see hope on the horizon, a community where we embolden the kind, a community where we give voice to the voiceless. That is who we are. That is what this moment demands. That is the future we are choosing together. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, County Executive Ball. Our great state has a great, incomparable leader who continues to prove that no Marylander is left behind. That especially rings true today. Let's hear from Governor Wes Moore.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Howard County. And God bless you, Howard County.
God bless you.
God bless you, Howard County.
God bless you.
God bless you for leading.
Yes.
God bless you for taking care of all of our people and not just some of them.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I want to say to your county executive, you just continue to show extraordinary leadership, and we are just so thankful for who you are and what you continue to do for the people of Howard County. Truly. You know, I think about you, I think about Chair Jones and Vice Chair Rigby and every member of the council. And for each of you, the leaders, the activists, the community members, the ones who stood unafraid. That if there's one thing that I know is that leadership does not come because of a title. There are people who I know who have no title at all, who are leading with urgency, who are leading with fight, and who are protecting our people. And I know people with very big titles who are doing nothing. Leadership is what shows when it's necessary and required. And that's exactly what you all have shown. That's exactly what we're seeing, and why I'm thankful to be here with our federal delegation, who just continue to show that in this point and in this moment, Maryland will not be bullied, Marylanders will not be shoved to the side, that Marylanders will stand up and Marylanders will lead, and I'm so thankful for our federal delegation for continuing to show that. I'm so thankful for members of the General Assembly and Howard County's remarkable representatives in Annapolis right now who are fighting right now every day on behalf of your rights, of your freedoms, of reducing your costs, of fighting for your democracy and making sure your voice is not going to be pushed to the side, but also who still found it important to leave Annapolis and come out here and to say thank you for the work that you all have continued to do and continue to push in this fight. Thank you for passing this emergency legislation unanimously and across party lines to prohibit privately owned buildings from being used as ICE detention centers. That in this moment when we are being tested, Howard County understood the assignment. That the Howard County Public School students who had their voices heard and who understood that this is not just about their future, this is about their present, they understood the assignment. Yeah. The pastor from Elkridge, who shared on Wednesday night that she wakes up every morning and fears not just for her safety, but for her daughter's safety, who reminded her community that the Gospel of Matthew teaches us that when we are faithful in the small things, that means we are faithful in the great ones too. She understood the assignment. Yeah. And let's be clear about why their voices matter and why this bill matters. It's because right now, this Trump-Vance ICE is out of control. They are not focused on deporting violent criminals. We are watching them pull people from their homes, from their workplaces, rip families apart, and even taking children, wreaking havoc. They're not acting with accountability, and they're not acting with the accountability that the Constitution demands. This Trump-Vance team has been focused on sending unaccountable, unqualified, and untrained armed personnel into our streets, and this does not make us safer. Locking up 5-year-olds does not make us safer. Violence and reckless tactics do not make us safer. That you all understand, and here in Howard County, and why your leadership matters so much is that you all are not alone in this. That just down the road in Washington County, a large warehouse was recently acquired by the Department of Homeland Security. The community has deep fears that this will be used as a detention center where inhumanity and cruelty has been commonplace, where basic human needs and dignity are denied. And of course, local government has very real concerns that this facility will strain the resources and the public services that instead should be used to help people. So I'm demanding answers from our federal government. We need to know how the Department of Homeland Security will utilize and operate that warehouse. And all of us need to work together to safeguard our neighborhoods and safeguard our communities. So if ICE wants trust, if they really want trust, they should be working with local authorities and working with local officials and not working against us. They should be wearing cameras. They should be held accountable if they break the law. And while we're having that conversation, let's talk about who we are, who this state is. That this state is a proud community of immigrants. It's one of our greatest strengths. And I say that as a son of an immigrant single mom who grew up and came to this country from Jamaica as just a little girl, but who had the hope that this country was big enough for her too. Immigrants are our educators, they are caretakers, our engineers, our entrepreneurs. They oftentimes do the backbreaking work that puts food on our tables and the groundbreaking work at our universities. Making America great does not mean telling people you are not welcome. Making America great means realizing this country would be incomplete without each and every one of us. We believe in working together to get violent offenders off of our streets. It is a commitment that I have, and the people of the state of Maryland know there is nothing I will not do to keep you safe. And that violent offenders have come to learn that you will find no safe haven here, and we are thankful for the remarkable members of law enforcement inside of the state of Maryland who are working around the clock to ensure that our communities are safe, and we are thankful for them, and we are thankful for their service. But we also believe in working together. Also means following the Constitution. And that's not what we're seeing from this Trump-Vance ICE operation. So today, I am very proud to stand with Howard County and to stand in Howard County. To stand with its leaders, to stand with its community activists, to stand with its neighbors who are looking out for all of the neighbors. I thank you because you drew the line. You defended our values. You did not what was easy, but you did what was tough. You protected our people. So thank you, County Executive. Thank you, Howard County. Thank you, Maryland, because in this time we are showing that we will protect our people. And protecting our people is the epitome of what it means to leave no one behind. And so I'm honored to now introduce someone who has been fighting on the front lines for us, for all Marylanders, and who continues to do so in a heroic and a remarkable way. Howard County, we are all better because of Senator Chris Van Hollen.
I want to start by thanking all of you in this room, American patriots all, for taking responsibility for our future in a way that reflects our values. And then I want to start where the governor started, by thanking County Executive Ball for your courage, for your conscience, and for acting with the fierce urgency of now. Thank you, County Executive Ball. And to Chairman Jones, Vice Chair Rigby, to every one of the members of the Howard County Council, thank you for springing into action at this moment of great peril for our community and our country. Let's give them another round of applause. Because what you've done is help safeguard our community, our Constitution, and our democracy. Our country recently witnessed the horrible killings in Minneapolis of two Americans, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, shot and killed by federal agents. And the response from the president of the Trump administration was to call them domestic terrorists. That's what they said. They were not domestic terrorists. These were American patriots conducting themselves in accordance with their constitutional rights. And even though we saw the worst of America at that moment, we've also seen the very best of America. In Minneapolis, we've watched the citizens of that city peacefully protest, literally blow whistles to protect their neighbors and to blow the whistles on wrongdoing. And that is what you're doing here in Howard County. Just like the people of Minneapolis, you are here to blow the whistle to make sure that you protect everything that Howard County and the state of Maryland and the United States stand for. Thank you for this quick action to blow the whistle here in Howard County so that we can uphold our values and our Constitution. ICE operations around the country and here in Maryland are not making our communities more safe. Like the governor, I want to applaud all the members of our local law enforcement who every day help keep our communities safe. We salute you again. But that's not what's happening under Trump's ICE operation. I mean, let's face it, Donald Trump lied to the American people when he said they were going to focus on, quote, the worst of the worst. That's not what's happening. That's not who Arlete Martinez is. She'd been living in the United States 20 years here in Maryland. No criminal record. She was swept up and detained. She had 4 kids, including a 15-year-old son who had cancer. She asked to be released so she could see her son who was suffering. I said no. He died within 48 hours. That's the kind of inhumanity we're witnessing from this operation. We see pastors from the Eastern Shore detained, small business women from Hagerstown detained, and the list goes on and on, kids being detained. That's not the worst of the worst. And so that's why I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you, Governor, and the members of the General Assembly gathered here, because you are doing everything you can at the state level to help protect our people and our values and our Constitution against this lawlessness. Thank you to Governor Moore and all the members of the General Assembly who are here. Thank you for what you're doing. And I want to thank my colleagues who you're going to hear from shortly as members of Federal Team Maryland. Senator Alsobrooks, Congresswoman Elfreth. We have both said loudly and clearly, all of us have said loudly and clearly, not one more dime for Trump's lawless ICE administration. And we meant it. We all opposed extending the monies even for another 2 weeks until we rein in this out-of-control, lawless operation. And it was mentioned what's happening in Baltimore City. It's called the Baltimore Holding Facility. All 3 of us here from the federal delegation have been there. The first time we went there, they wouldn't let us in. Second time we went there and, again, read them the statute, and we went in. And then as now, it is being used in violation of the clear standards for that facility. I'm sure you saw the horrible videotapes. It took us a little while to confirm its authenticity, but it was authentic. That's what happened in the Baltimore Holding Facility. People body to body, unsanitary conditions, people without access to health care. That's happening in Baltimore City. And we have rallied against it, and we will keep rallying against it until they stop abusing people in that facility. Marylanders are doing that, and I want to thank all of you who are part of that. And Governor, thank you for your efforts with respect to what's happening in Washington County. Our delegation has written to Christy Nome. Yeah. We haven't gotten a response yet, but we won't give up pressing, because like all of you, it does come down to we the people. You know, people say, where's the cavalry coming? You're the cavalry. And that's what people in Minneapolis are doing. They're the cavalry. And that's what the Howard County Executive and the Council did with the backing of all of you. They're the cavalry. You know, it was just a little over a year ago, actually, that a fellow by the name of Kilmar Abrego Garcia was snatched off the streets in Prince George's County and sent to the Gulag in El Salvador. And it took a lot of efforts from a lot of people, including, importantly, a 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court to get him back. But they continue their illegal political prosecution against him. But this community in Maryland has rallied. In fact, the American people are rallied because people want public safety. We all want public safety, and we want to thank everybody who's part of providing public safety. But that's not what this lawless ICE operation is about. It does not reflect who we are as Americans. So as we witness really the worst of us in those operations, we also celebrate the best of us in rising up as we the people to protect our Constitution. And that's what your county executive and your county council have done. Thank you very, very much for what you do. And let me now bring up just a wonderful partner. Thank you, Howard County. Thank you to the state of Maryland for sending Angela Alserbrooks to the United States Senate. We work very closely together 24/7, including on these important issues. Let's bring up Senator Alserbrooks.
Thank you so much. Am I supposed to stand on here or stand below it? I'm sorry. Well, good morning, everyone. First of all, I just want to recognize again our senior senator, Chris Van Hollen. I have to tell you, I am so very proud to be his partner in the United States Senate, and I have watched over the last year that I've had the opportunity to serve with him in the Senate, and I am proud not just because he's brilliant, I am proud not just because he's courageous, but he leads with humanity. His humanity shows every single day. It is the thing that characterizes his leadership, and just wanted to say I'm so proud to be his partner. I'm also proud, and I hope you are too, to be a Marylander. Oh my goodness, thank God for Maryland. It's so wonderful to live in a state that is led by Governor Wes Moore, who leads us so incredibly strong leadership, and who leads as a person who believes, unlike the top of our country, he believes in unity, believes for sure that we are stronger when we work together, and as a veteran who believes as well that it is so important and more than important that we have a moral obligation to ensure that no person is left behind and that we all move forward together. And so I want to thank him as well for his leadership and for being here. And what can I say about this super bad county executive that you all have here? Dr. Calvin Ball, my brother, who I am most proud. Oh my gosh, I could not be more proud of him and his incredible courage that he has met the moment. You know, they say that it is important in elective service to have convictions. And I think that we are clear about what he values. He values what Howard County values. And so he leads not only with his values, but what is it to have convictions without courage? And so he has both convictions, but he also has courage. And so I want to thank you so much, County Executive Ball, for bringing us all here together. And he is joined in leadership with these incredible leaders you have elected. I want to thank Dr. Jones, who is leading us on the council. Vice Chair Rigsby, I want to thank her as well as this incredible council and all of the other leaders in Howard County who have come forward today. I want to thank them. You're going to hear from my partner also in Congress in just a moment, but I just wanted to thank all of them. We are standing at a critical moment in our country's history. We can all feel it so clearly. History is being written right now. It is not just that our children are watching to see who we are, but it is true that each of us will have to account for where we were at this precise moment in history. we will be called upon to explain where we were and what we did about what we saw and what we experienced. And our country is living in a moment where we are having a dual crisis, the crisis of affordability as a result of the lies of this administration who promised us that they would make our lives better, who said that they would make life more affordable, that we'd be able to afford the cost of groceries would go down on day one, that we'd be able to afford homes. All of these turned out to be lies. But I think even more horrible than what has happened in terms of the crisis of affordability is now we are headlong in a crisis of accountability as well that our country is struggling against. And so the crisis, both of them have crushed so many people. People are wondering right now why it is they cannot afford anymore their health care, why they can't afford their groceries. And I say for anyone who's wondering why we no longer can feed seniors and feed children who were benefiting from nutritional programs, well, just turn on your television, and unfortunately, you will see the mass killers who are running amok in our streets. And you can know that to the tune of $75 billion, the big ugly bill funded men who are running around our communities with masks on, these cowards who are smashing windows and grabbing children out of the arms of their parents, who are doing so in a mask. That is where the money is going when we wonder why we can no longer afford to live in our country. And so instead of caring for people, they are choosing to have us live in fear. And we've seen how these masked men are acting out of control and who believe that they are above the law. We've seen them shoot and kill Americans. Shoot and kill Americans, the same ones that I would dare say to you that this administration has extreme disdain, and not just disdain for immigrants, they have disdain for the American people in general. We've seen it play out in our streets, and we're clear about it. We've watched them assault innocent people, snatch them off the streets, and we've watched them kidnap people who have committed no crimes. And we've seen where they're holding the detainees. We've read the reports of how ICE is unwilling or unable to keep detainees from contracting measles in their detention centers. We've seen video footage of the horrific conditions that detainees are subjected to at the facilities here in Baltimore. You know, I went to the facility in Baltimore with our senator and with other members of our delegation, and I have to tell you, it made the hair stand up on my arms. It's chilling. It is a chilling experience that they don't want the public, they don't want any light to shine on the evil that is happening inside that facility, and you feel it the moment you walk through the door. Sheer evil is operating. And the people who are working there are ashamed of the work that they are doing. Why else would you cover your face? Ashamed of what they're doing, and I am ashamed of it as well. So we've had to watch this footage from ICE, who continue to refuse entry, by the way, to lawmakers who are trying to conduct our oversight duties, and it is so shameful. Our country, I have to tell you, for generations to come will answer for this moment. And now they want to open another facility here in Howard County. And so I share the sentiment of all in Howard County who now have spoken through your representatives. And the answer to that question, there are two answers to it, is no and hell no. Those are the answers. This country has lost its moral center, by the way, when behavior like this isn't universally condemned. Someone has to fight for the rule of law. Someone has to listen to their conscience. And so, by the way, I continue to invite my colleagues on the other side of the aisle who I know see what we see. And again, some of them share this conviction but don't have the courage to go with their convictions. We invite them to speak out as well, to stand up and hold this administration accountable. And so like Senator Van Hollen, I voted against funding this murderous organization, and I will continue to do so. I'm proud to stand with Senator Van Hollen, proud to stand with Representative Elfreth and others who have done the same. Not another penny of your taxpayer dollars to fund Donald Trump's ICE. And so again, I want to thank all the leaders who are here. I also want to bring up now, for her remarks, a warrior who you sent to the United States Congress. I am so proud of Congresswoman Sarah Elfreth, who's a bad lady. I have watched her in the halls of Congress. She's fighting for all of us, and she is doing so with all of the vigor and energy that she has, whether it's fighting for federal employees or fighting against ICE. Boy, you have sent a fighter to Washington who understands us, who shares our values, and I'm so proud to have her as a colleague and want to call her up now to give her remarks.
Good morning, Howard County. I'm so grateful to be back in this room. I came here on Wednesday night to join, I don't know what the final number is, Mr. County Executive, but whatever it is so reflective of this community standing up in this moment to respond not just to the chaos, but to the cruelty of what is happening in Washington. I want to start by thanking my partner in legislating, County Executive Ball, for acting so decisively in this moment with leadership and integrity. Thank you. Thank you to the County Council. For folks who follow legislative process, to have a bill introduced, heard, voted on, and signed in 1 week's time is light speed. And to my partners in Governor Moore and our senators, we talk about Team Maryland a lot. And I think what you are seeing today is the culmination of Team Maryland at its best, which isn't just the federal delegation. It's not just Governor Moore. It's not just our partners in the General Assembly, who I'm so proud to be with today, but it's also our partners in local government who are standing up and responding in real time. And I'm going to extend what Team Maryland is to every single person in this room, because this moment in time requires each and every one of us to show loudly who we are, not just as a community, but as a country. And I've been thinking a lot, I know we all have, as we look to the 250th anniversary of the founding of this nation this year. And we talk a big game about our values and who we are. But this very radical notion that we were founded on self-governance requires each and every one of you in this room to not just show up on Wednesday and testify, not just show up today in celebration, but continue to stay engaged despite the cruelty of what is happening in Washington. So I want to thank each and every one of you for showing the world who Howard County is. Now, my colleagues have articulated so well what ICE and this administration are after. They're after the cruelty. The president outright lied, it's been said. These are not the worst of the worst. We know that 95% of people who are being detained have no criminal records. We know they are picking up pastors and teachers and children. And we know not just the violence in the streets, we know the violence in these detention centers. And I want to remind you a stat that I mentioned on Wednesday night when I was here. 2025 was the deadliest year on record for those who've been detained in ICE. 25 people died while in ICE custody. And if we thought that was bad, another 8 died in the month of January alone. So we know that these facilities have absolutely no place in Howard County and no place in Maryland. The General Assembly, I want to thank them. They have acted decisively over the years. And now when we have this local challenge, our county council has stood up. And I just want to tell you all, I know Senator Alsworks and Senator Van Hollen have spent a lot of time with our colleagues from Minnesota over the last couple of weeks, hearing directly from them about what their constituents, their communities are facing. And I'm just going to echo something that a word I heard them use. They've said occupation. The fear, intentional fear that is being brought to their communities. People are not going to work. People are not going to school. Everybody, regardless of their immigration status, is afraid to live their everyday lives in Minnesota. And we know that we will not stand for that here. I'll also share, I was with colleagues just on Tuesday talking about Howard County is not the only local jurisdiction facing these private detention facility threats. And as we were talking about it as a caucus, I was able to raise my hand and everybody was questioning, what can we do? As members of Congress, what can we do? And I raised my hand and said, well, thankfully, Howard County in my district is stepping up. And they are going to make it impossible, the county executive and I were just talking, painfully difficult. We are going to use every single tool to slow this down, to stop this thing, to fight back. And I'm just here to tell everybody, and especially the county council, you are literally the model for local government stepping up and responding. The local model across this country, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And I'll end it, we've had a lot of speakers, and I just, again, want to end where I started, which is a note of gratitude for every single person who has participated in this process. It is not over. The cruelty is the point, and our response to it is our only way through this. And I'm so proud to be part of a community that stands up, stands on its values, and makes sure that we tell this administration that ICE has no home here in Howard County. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much to our federal delegation. As you can see, they're fighting for us in Washington and showing up back here in home. And now I'd like to welcome up a champion in our council who helped to usher through our emergency bill. That is Council Chair Opal Jones.
Good morning, everyone. This is indeed history. Good morning, County Executive Dr. Calvin Ball, Governor Wes Moore, members of our congressional delegation, state delegation, my county council colleagues, advocates, and friends, some of whom I've seen all night Wednesday night, on Monday, last night, and you're here again. Thank you so much for being here. I am Opal Jones, and I am honored to serve as chair of the Howard County Council, and we welcome you all on behalf of the Howard County Council. I want to take a moment to again introduce my council colleagues, Vice Chair Christiana Rigby, Council Member Deb Young, Council Member Liz Walsh, and although he is not here today, the lone Republican on the council who voted for this bill in the affirmative, Council Member David Youngman. Let's give them a round of applause. Over the past year, we have witnessed a profound and fundamental change in our federal government's legal approach to immigration enforcement and its aggressive impact on the local level. With respect to emergency legislation, our charter, Section 209, subsection D, defines emergency legislation as an immediate emergency affecting public health, safety, or welfare. And in these instances, the council may pass emergency bills. The code requires every emergency bill to be plainly designated as an emergency, and the bill must state that an emergency exists and describe the claimed emergency in clear and specific terms. This is indeed an emergency, and once it is signed today, it will go into law immediately. Thank you to our County Executive, Dr. Calvin Ball. I want to thank him for his fearless, steadfast leadership in filing Council Bill 16. As elected officials, it is our responsibilities to meet this moment fearlessly, head-on, with compassion, intentional, and thoughtful legislation for all. And that is exactly what he did when I heard from his Chief of Staff and Deputy Chief of Staff just Friday afternoon, Friday afternoon a week ago. They called me. They said, Opal, this is what we're thinking about doing. And here we are, a week later. Thank you, Dr. Ball. For me, this is personal. This proposed, unfit, and unwelcome detention center was nestled in my district and abuts my community and surrounding bustling neighborhoods, home to our future leaders, healthcare facilities, and parks. And on another personal note, just this past Tuesday, I was in the doctor's office with my wife and my 10-year-old son and my 7-year-old daughter. And my 10-year-old son said to my wife and I, Mom, Dad, could you please start carrying our birth certificates with you? He was born at Howard County General Hospital. He's lived in Howard County his whole life. And he asked his mom and dad, who are also American, to start carrying the birth certificate. I said, no, son, we don't need to carry birth certificates. He said, Dad, just in case. I'm not gonna get emotional on TV, y'all. I'm not gonna get emotional in front of the governor. I'm not gonna do it. So I'm gonna close. In closing, one of the first stops for immigrants was Ellis Island. Lit in the distance is the Statue of Liberty, a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Famous words from American poet Emma Lazarus are inscribed at the base of the Statue of Liberty, which states, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." All Americans and those who wish to be part of the American experience immortalize these words. I'm going to take this time to pass this historical moment back to the county executive to sign into law, not in 61 days, right now, this legislation, CB-16, 2016.
This is video, so you can breathe, move, wave.
All right, thank you so much for your leadership and help and support on this, moving more capacity for affordable housing and for people to have a roof over their heads.
Amen.
Okay. And this one goes to Linda.
Linda.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you, thank you.
Get one over at me.